assuming.
No, you might have been software. Right. But so it's kind of really, it's just like super slow. I don't know why. There's so much beer because I tried like once with the gin and I was like, nonsense.
Yeah, there'd have to be like something in the middle there that too much.
Really.
I just don't remember it because I feel like I'm like having more it's like it's just not
I was like, was there another one?
No.
It was so easy. I missed one by accident.
No, I know I did.
Because I was like, I got all on that quiz. Right? I got all the quiz and I was like, just like,
I answered
that was just
and
the
I knew
topic.
what it was.
Right.
But there were so many questions that were
Here.
that I was like,
That was the same one. I knew it was massive diffusion. And I put after I accidentally hit the stomach wall. And I was like, afterwards, whenever I opened, I was like, done. I just never done the list.
I'll still take it. I noticed he has posted.
Yeah, I checked that one last night.
Yeah, he's really slow.
That one, not as much.
That's a great idea.
For a while, I was there.
Especially when kids don't come to class.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember.
So I can't the alert on the second tornado or something like that. So
Goodness, there's one. There was inverse. I
so
remember.
like an alert for
Inverse, I missed
students. If you guys travel fast time.
And then,
I don't know, something I
Like
missed.
a text went out or something
and
like
then
that.
I forgot to
I
talk
don't think
about
Oh, like here or like
Yeah.
at a regular campus, like or like an elementary campus.
Like a freshman.
Hmm. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know how many of them would actually like.
I was looking for lipids.
It's sad, but like they're not gonna go to class. Then it's a matter like if I were there knocking on their door type thing. They.
Is that the main thing?
That's the kind of the part where I don't like it. My job was just like, no, put it into this for you to go to class. You know it, and you won't go even if I tell you
That's
to.
all that
Next,
matters.
and
That's all
then
that matters.
your next semester you'll be like, oh, I'm in college,
And then the
cool.
paper, that blue screen.
But it would be an interesting thought
I think he just
to implement something like that. I don't know.
That was the most
I
straightforward.
think he was just like,
I don't know if we're allowed to do that. Because there's like
I
this.
was seriously really stressed out about that test, and I started taking it, I was like, these are all the things.
Not sure who did it. Maybe the
I just assumed it.
campus somehow, yeah.
Oh, kind of like I need to reply.
Where?
Yeah, she might remember.
Everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a bunch of weird, like,
I was concerned.
walls and things that we have to, like, go through and go by, but.
Essays were gonna be like 10 essays, and it was like 2, I was like,
Don't worry yourself about it.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, it is an
I
interesting,
know.
interesting thought. I just, I don't know.
Anything about it. At all.
I hate to be, like, the kind of pessimistic to my residents, but, eh,
I've heard the second one.
sometimes they're just very.
They
Focus.
just sit there
You've got like
and
30%
rewrite the whole graph.
No, it's
And
true.
I've done it. So I could focus on the next test.
Kind of like the wake up program.
I think it's the,
Most hard
because we have
You're waking
that
up.
Monday.
So go to school.
Well, it's got Tuesday too. You want to do the guys?
Oh, I thought you guys were going to sorry. I was trying to be quiet.
Okay. Okay. So how is it? Time is getting close. I'm getting cold. Sometime this week. Okay, so today you can give us, share us the meaning model. It's easy to do. We'd like to start first. Okay, please.
Well, I was really looking at the prompt, and I don't know that I covered everything in that much detail, but kind of before you So, my sister and I have always wanted to start like a traveling lemonade stand, but considering there'd be only her and I, and we yell at each other whether we're mindful or not. I just kind of took that idea and put it into something else. Actually, I just stole the name of it. So I want to open an ice cream shop. So the ice cream, Lemony Lickets is what the name would be, just so you guys know. And it would just be, I don't know if you've ever been to an ice cream parlor, but just like where you would order handmade, like hand-dipped ice cream. So there'd be a lot of people stuffed behind a bar at one time, bumping into each other, and that would stress me out. So I figured we could do like mindfulness, like when you start your shift and when you end your shift, where when you come in, you leave all your frustrations outside, and then while you're there, you you work, and then you can kind of start new when you leave, so you don't take whatever you did at work back home with you, so you can have like a good separation of that. Plus, I think that it would be good to let your employees, whether they're like managers or just general employees, know that it's okay to take a 5-minute break. If something's getting really stressful and you're worried that you're just going to say something that you don't mean or something of that nature. I don't know how people feel, but like it's okay to remove yourself for a little bit. Don't stay gone forever, but I mean, just take yourself away from it. Clear your mind from that. I don't really. It's kind of gist of it. I mean, there wouldn't really have to be that many employees, just because you would only have to do 2 shifts about every day of people, so 5 at the most. So there's not really anything that you'd have to do like big. I also said that you could put mindfulness into their training, like when they first start, or like during the hiring process, like be mindful of who you're hiring, so you can make sure they would all work well together. And I don't really.
So what happens if the customer line up and your employee is so stressed out? So can he or she take off?
Yeah, I mean, not all at once, obviously, but I've had situations like that where like we've been really busy and someone's left, and if it's only for a few minutes just to kind of reset, it's really not that bad. It's just like they were there earlier if they're not working at their full potential anyway. So a few minutes without them really isn't going to mess up that much.
Last week I went to the PNC Bank, and I think it was 5 o'clock when they supposed to close the bank, but there only one customer service in the line. And the other one they take back the phone. I don't know how their managers train them. So the customer is more important for the business, right? So why one customer service can work on the line, the other one have to work, and we have a long line. What do you think?
I think it makes it stressful for that one person left.
Yeah,
because
but
everybody in line is angry that there's only one person there.
And then they pack up the purse. They're walking so far in a normal way, and they don't care much. They didn't care much about the customers. I'm so surprised with that kind of business. How could they survive if their employees don't care much about the customers? Right? And there's a big bank in the city. I don't know whether they have that kind of training.
You know, back at the ice cream shop,
Yeah.
that if you serve a customer, you turn their back to a customer for just a few seconds. Close your eyes, try to pull yourself together, and come back. Give you some relief.
Yeah. So they show the employees don't care much about the customers. Anyway, so thank you. How about, can you open the ice cream shop in winter or when? So cold.
I don't know if I'd open it in the winter, but I would like to live on the beach, so hopefully it'll be warm.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's the
Florida,
idea.
Hawaii.
Yeah, anywhere really. Just not anywhere.
Okay, thank you. What else? Yeah, please.
So I chose a business model to put towards where I work right now, and the reason I did that is because that's where I was on Wednesday. We just went to a work conference / show down in Orlando we left Monday night and got back Saturday, which sounds more fun than it was, obviously. Like, it was really tiring. I mean, I was fortunate that I got to go, but when I saw this assignment, I was like, oh, that could be really interesting, because a lot of things, the conference showed kind of what we do well and what we don't do so well. It's a local manufacturing company in local. My boss is also the owner and also the engineer of our products. And when I tell people what we do, they're like, we make ozone generators, which help clean the air, clean water. It's big in Europe. It's not just big. So anyway, after looking through the files online, I found one that I really like called the 4-factor model, which those 4 factors are perspective, purpose, positivity, and of course mindfulness is last. And the reason I chose it was because I think each one of those is like really the root, sort of like core business principles that I think you should have, like perspective, we all know what that means. And in terms of this model, I think it was talking about how you need to be open to a variety of different points of view rather than stick in an unflexible, sort of what we've talked about before with not having flexibility with your thinking. And where I work currently, our owner is really good about that. He's an engineer, so he enjoys new ideas. He loves tinkering with stuff. If you want to change the design of something or fix this, or if you have some new idea, he's very open to that, which is great. The next one, purpose, is I think super important, because if you don't know why you started the business, or if you don't know what you're really wanting to do in terms of the present and future tense, then it's hard, I think, to be all on the same page. And that's really where we have trouble, because he's a great guy. I'm just using this as an example, but he does not know really, he doesn't see where the business is going to be in 5 years or in 10 years. He's very much, he can't decide if he wants to be a manufacturer or a retailer. And a lot of his staff, like myself included, we have different ideas for that. But we don't feel like we're all on the same page. It's kind of, that's maybe one of the things we noticed at the show, was like, we sort of have different ideas for what's best. So I think really knowing like what you want to do, particularly in the future for the business, is a good idea. Positivity, of course, is important. You want to be able to keep your balanced mind. I mean, certainly negative things happen, but like you said, if you've got a line of people or if you're really stressed, then it helps to be positive. And then mindfulness, of course, we all know. I mean, we're really familiar with mindfulness by now, but I think I remember reading that you have moment-by-moment choices. I think that's what this model said, rather than thinking about a past decision or a future decision you want to make. It's important to sort of treat each new experience separately and make a decision based on that. But yeah, I mean, it was fun and we had a good time, but definitely I think mindfulness in business is super important. I think it's one of those things that's overlooked. I'm not sure what he would say if I brought this to him. He probably, I mean, I think he would listen to it, but you know, it's just interesting how you can apply it to different types of jobs. I mean, myself, I would like to be a therapist, so I would use this with my clients, probably different techniques like NVSR. But if you're doing something like manufacturing or engineering, I think it's easy to like get tripped up in the small little details and not think about the overall big picture, which is kind of where we are, where I work.
Yeah. So you say that somehow he's the owner, is the engineer,
He's
and
yes.
he's everything.
He's kind of everything, yeah.
And it's just small companies, a big company.
No, it's pretty small.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you say that he lack of vision, right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and so when
So all of us are kind of lost too. We can't really.
So if you approach him, you might suggest him to have a clear vision to his business about goal-oriented or value-oriented.
Yeah.
This one.
He's more goal oriented.
So that's the problem, remember?
Yes. Yes.
So we need to discuss further about the vision with the value,
Yes, exactly.
not the
And his
goal.
staff, like we all see it because the products help clean your water and clean your air. So we all see how it could be really beneficial as a service, but he sees it more as as a product and not as a service.
That's
you know
different.
what I mean?
That's not the value,
I
right?
know.
No, that's not the value of the product.
Right.
Product is just the means. The value is how to serve people, how to bring the benefit to other people.
Right.
Then that is important if you see how you think. As many people, even last week too, we have a group of adjunct faculties here. And we talked with the counselor, and somehow if I'm correct, he see the school as a product to advertise. So I don't know. For me, in my view, what do you think? Human being is student is school, not product. What do you think?
I agree.
So when you see it in the product, it's like this object is what different.
I think he would have more success in promoting the product if he was promoting the value. If the company had a mission statement and their vision was to promote this value, not the product, he would sell more product, which would meet his end goal. But he needs to shift his focus from being, like you say, goal-oriented and selling a certain number of widgets, as opposed to helping everyone to have health through this value that they can get from the product. And people embrace that more. It's more effective in advertising. I mean, the people inside the company would embrace it more and be more committed to their jobs.
Yeah, so what do you think?
We're trying. I know that, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And he needs to let go of some of the pieces too. He needs to pick his role, right?
Right.
Or narrow down the number of roles that he can do the
Yes.
most effectively.
Yeah, I agree. Not everybody can do everything.
And he probably can't do everything very well, as well as he thinks he can anyway.
Like if you open your ice cream shop, right, you see ice cream as a product or you serve people as
It's a service to my heart. But no, it's more, I don't know. It is a product, but I think the experience that you could get would kind of be a service. So it's kind of a odd.
that's part of mindfulness is for the value. I just mentioned recently, if the chance I think the school, the student as the product, without that actually problem there.
I'm wondering about advertising. You see car commercials, they don't really talk about the car, and they talk about flying down the road or some heavy thing. They never really talk about the car. Talk about maybe strikes with the value of the car.
Like if it's Volvo, they're focusing on the safety and how your family's safe, and everybody's safe. And if it's like a sports car, then we're talking about the experience of how much benefit, satisfaction you get out of it, not the car's really cool because it can do blah, blah, blah. I mean, there are commercials like that, but you do find more that are more emotional based than those advertisers know too. People care more about value than they do about the product.
Yeah. If you work with your co-workers, right, you think, let's say you design develop the software, so-called, right? If you think as a product, it's quite different from the value of using that software to run, right?
Yeah, that's true. So the project I was on before, I mean, there's a lot of pieces and parts that all go together, and you're just day in, day out like, what is the point, right? You know, what is the point? Why am I doing this? Why does it matter? So our prior team's project, the actual purpose of the software was to keep track of doctors to make sure that they're giving their patients the right tests for their ailment, and the doctors get a score, and if they get a good score, they get a bonus check, meaning if their patients are getting all the tests they need within a certain cost measure, they're not overcharging them, the better they do at their job, meaning the better they take care of their patient, the better their bonus is. So when you think about it that way, you're like, well, this is actually helping the patient get better service, which is good, you know, and it's making the doctors do better on the job, and they get money, and then humanity gets money. So, you know, that's a good way to think. The project I'm on now is more, we're building a report that helps the market team identify the areas of the market to go after to bring in more customers to Humana. So it's not as, it's a little bit, not as, you know.
But still has a value.
It has a value to the, but it's more like a bottom line dollar type of value. So it's not as great, but it is hard to find the purpose of what you do in the job like mine, because it's, I mean, literally just looking at words and numbers and how the words.
So you have,
yeah,
so you have model.
Yeah, but I didn't relate mine to work because my big paper is going to be on that, and I just did something for fun this time. Oh, you want me to go now? All right, so I just did mine for something completely off the wall, not related to work, just something totally for fun because I just thought I would. And it's just something I've been thinking about for a while, and I don't know that I would ever actually open a business, but it's just things that I contemplate that aren't related to work. So a lot of, and this is, I was in this category, or still kind of am in this category, but a lot of Americans can't answer the question, what is your culture? And that's especially true for people who have been here for many generations and who come from mixed ethnic backgrounds. Like, I'm Irish, and I'm Scottish, and I'm Welsh, and I'm a little Native, and I'm a little this and a little that. So what is my culture, right? So we have American culture. But we can't really easily identify what American culture is because we're like a big melting pot. So what I thought would be fun, before, and another part of it is that before the Industrial Revolution, when people were closer to home, we were more collectivistic in this country. Like, we stayed near home. If we went anywhere, it was another house on the farm. Everyone worked, everyone built everything, all the food was produced there, you knew where everything came from, everybody stayed close, you might marry your neighbor or somebody 10 miles away, but that was pretty much it. After the Industrial Revolution, everybody starts going away to the cities, and so we became an individualistic society eventually. And now with technology, we're to the point where we don't know where our food comes from, we don't know where the products come from, if we even think about where they come from, how they were made, you know, who touched them, who's involved, and all that. And we don't even know how to make anything, right? We go online and we order it and it shows up at our house. Or we go to the store and we buy it. We don't know how to just do anything for ourselves. So I thought it would be fun to have, and mine's a non-profit. It's not an actual for-profit business. It's, and I just made this up. It's the Foundation for American Cultural Awareness and Preservation. So it's a nonprofit foundation that preserves and teaches Americana cultural skills and teaches the history of where the skills originated. The purpose is to document and preserve the skills that are being forgotten due to the advancements in technology. And the skills are taught based on geographical region segments, such the history of each cultural area will be directly related to the native and immigrant peoples that first arrived in that area. I made a mission statement, and is to preserve and pass on the traditions of pre-industrial revolution Americans in a way that respects the environment, people, cultures, and animals involved in the process, to be cost and resource efficient, to learn about the histories of the cultures that are combined to create the American experience. In addition, the mission is to teach the community that these life skills are useful in the modern technological age. So the products would be handmade crafts, food, tools, clothing, blankets, musical instruments, and other goods that are made by the students and members of the foundation. And then the classes would be on like animal husbandry, gardening, food preservation techniques, wool processing, total consumption of raw products, which is like learning how not to waste. Woodworking, construction for foundation-related projects like building animal barns and pretty much everything from the beginning to the end to know how to do it all by hand. Weaving, knitting, crochet, lace making, sewing, musical training, poetry, dancing, songwriting, artwork, poetry, and storytelling. You can do anything except pretend. So the foundation will be mindfulness based at every level. For management, I figured it would just be me and 2 other people, part-time workers, that I would make sure I got full on 8-week NBSR trainings to be totally trained so I could train other people to be mindful. The part-time employees would be trained in mindfulness, part of their first 90-day training period. For mindful working environments, I actually did almost every little bit there, so I'll try to go kind of fast. Company policy, like every morning we would begin a 15-minute meditation and time to share about ideas for the company. All ideas will be respected. Production, all areas of production will be mindfully designed. Any resources will be obtained from local producers that are kind to the environment. Animals for product like eggs, wool, milk, and etc. will be respected and treated well. Each item produced will be thoughtfully considered before production and carefully planned so that only the necessary resources are used, waste will be minimized, and recycling or reuse will be maximized. For human resources, make sure that I only hire the minimum people needed so that I can pay them the most that I can pay, which I would want to be more than minimum wage. Since food preparation and growing food is a huge part of the foundation, I would make sure they're all fed, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner there at the thing, and they can take the leftovers home to their families. And then encourage the employees to take risks and come up with ideas, because failure is just a learning experience and they don't need to be afraid to take risks. Advertisement would also be mindful of the message of our goals and to share our experience with the community. Community engagement, I thought it would be good to volunteer at shelters, orphanages, group homes, and nursing homes like once a month as a team. And since we would produce a lot more than we could sell or use, we would just take it all to food banks and to just different community places. And then modeling relationships. Fostering good relationships would begin with our team meditation meetings, and also I would obviously train the employees to have the same type of mindful relationship with our students and other members and then the people that we interact with in the community.
Great. It reminds me about the.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Right now, many people they advocate gold green. Probably that's more attractive kind of for you, because somehow people don't want to go back to the past. They want to move forward.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you the kind of gold green is more acceptable, more appealing, right? And yes, somehow we get use of convenience, right? If we did a cork, let's step out here, they have a machine here. If it's too cold, yeah, we wear a jacket and we jump in the car, so people don't want to put much labor on the work. But sometimes it's beneficial.
Like the number of little kids that don't know how to sew a button or crochet a scarf or make a hat, or it just drives me crazy because I know how to do that stuff and I want to. I try to teach my nieces and stuff. Anybody who will try to learn, because to me those are skills that were there and now they're gone. They're just disappearing because nobody does it. Like canning, I can my own food. I don't know anybody my age that cans. Everybody that cans is way older than me. It's really rare to find somebody my age or younger that cans, and I'm not that young. So it's it really bothers me that those things are fading, even though we don't need them. But I mean, all you need is one good EMP, and we need it, right? I mean, we got hit with an EMP, all electrics died, dead. Okay, I don't have a job anymore. So guess what? I better know how to make ends meet, right? Because people are doing the mad rush to the stores and they're emptied out in like a week, and then what? I mean, I think people need to know how to do stuff for themselves at a very basic level, because you don't know what could happen. We don't know for sure we'll always have all this technology and wonderful stuff with all kinds of sci-fi, scenarios, but you don't know for sure it's always going to be like this. What if you got stranded somewhere? You need to know how to do something.
Have you ever visited the Amish community? Okay, so what do you think about that? You been there before?
I haven't been there. I know several Amish people because I see them at markets and stuff. And I have friends that deal with Amish, so I've met several. But I haven't been to their farms. But I've been to their farm stores.
Okay.
Like I'm actually going to go tomorrow to buy some boots from some Amish. But
so you see them?
they're very basic.
They support themselves. They make their own soap. They don't use electricity. This is the Amish community is nearby a radio in Indiana.
There's a lot.
There's a lot more communities over there. And in the summer, the children they go barefoot, and even they climb on the top. They climb on the roof and play around too. Yeah, and even some of them still smoke. They have the wood mill where they the wood mill.
Oh yeah.
And the children work in that kind of environment too.
They start working like right away. As soon as they can walk, they work around.
And
they're really.
That's great for them, but sometimes we have to find legal ways. People would not like to do that kind of work, the kind of job, so our legal job. But of course, sometimes what happens? Imagine there's no electricity, no convenience anymore, no electricity, no internet, no computer. So anyway, we could be prepared for that, but somehow it's not easy. Some people can take that, go for it, but sometimes people get used of the convenience, like a laptop, a cell phone. So remember, sometimes when you go somewhere else that there's no charger for your phone, a big headache, right? You want to call, but there's no more battery. It's just a little convenience, not only with the huge internet, the computer, or even the light. So anyway, that's great. And especially in California, they follow that approach. They make the house out of the dry grass, what do you call this? Hay. Oh yeah, the hay.
Adobe.
Yeah.
Adobe.
No. They build a house out of the hay, the bundle of the hay, and it's bigger, but somehow depend upon each person views. Somehow people, especially I don't know, for the young people, they may not like to do that kind of job anymore, right? It's just convenient. It's inconvenient. Therefore, the older we are, we look for handmade stuff that we can use business.
The kids would rather play a video game than try to crochet something.
It's unhealthy. You know that unhealthy, but still, we cannot go against with the wind.
Like my kids, they're not interested in anything like that.
No.
I mean, I make them help me. They have chores, they have to do it because they don't have an option. Even now they're 18, they still have to do it, But it's not like they like it. They don't appreciate it yet. Maybe someday they'll look back and appreciate it. Like when it's time to plant the garden, they're like, oh my God, we gotta plant the garden. Yes, you have to help plant the garden.
Yeah, that's how it is in my house.
How long is it gonna take? Oh, like 6 hours. Oh my God, that's like all day. Yes, it's like all day.
You imagine that you bike from your house to the school, right? You ride a bike from your house to the school, right? It's inconvenient, especially in winter. So you have to do. Yes.
I hear they're going to stop teaching cursive in schools.
What is that?
I heard that they're going to stop teaching cursive handwriting in schools.
Oh, okay.
And it just reminds me of what you said, that so many jobs now are technology based. I mean, to what extent is, it just seems like roles are changing. You know what I mean? Like, I started as a print journalism major because I was like the editor of my school paper, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But my local paper closed recently, and nobody reads newspapers anymore. So I got out of that degree, even though I was interested in it. I mean, I still appreciate it, but it seems like those kinds of jobs, yeah, sort of what you were saying, are just not.
So I figured, like as a non-profit for fun, fine.
Well,
It's a good tax write-off
great
and
idea.
it's fun, right? But it's not like it would take off and be some big giant business model because there's just not that many people that are interested in preserving history.
Yeah. Okay, so next one, please.
Okay.
Yeah, please. So what's the motto?
Yeah, so I applied it to my job as well because I hope to never have to open a business. And if I'm unfortunate enough to have to take over this one, then I would want some kind of model to work for. I think the one of the biggest problems at my job right now is that it is family based, and there's like a level of professionalism we try to maintain, but we see each other all the time. So we bring in other stuff while we're at work. So my grandma and my aunt are the owners, and my grandma is like super ADD, and she starts one project and then she'll go do another project but never finish this one, and this one really needs to get done. And so she jumps around, and then my aunt is over here and she's like, we need to get this done and then this done and then this done. But it never happens that way. So we have like 10 projects going, and along with our normal work that we have to do. So there's there's 2 owners, and there's 4 designers, and there's 3 delivery drivers. And then on holidays, we have 30 designers and about 15 delivery drivers just to get all the product out. And one of the most stressful things is making sure that everybody is not only getting their job done, but doing it right, because the way it works whenever you're making a floral arrangement is you have to count every flower, and they have different prices, and then you have to count the vase and everything you put in it, and you got to keep it under a certain amount to make a profit, or we're just giving money away. And so when you have 30 people doing this who aren't doing it every day, it's really easy to lose profit. So I was saying in my paper that awareness would solve most of our problems, because just having a bunch of projects going and then not being mindful of what we're doing and when it needs to be done. I mean, we run out of flowers all the time, we run out of wrong colors, and we're at a point right now where we don't have enough people some days, and then we have too many people some days. So like being aware of, okay, this is what our week generally looks like. On Mondays it's more busy, or whatever, and then you have, so that way you're not overstaffing or understaffing, because then you're losing money because you have too many people working but you still have to pay them, or you're losing money because you don't have enough workers to get the product done. You have to turn orders down. So, which is really stressful. So you have awareness, and then I would say MBSR techniques, because it gets so stressful, especially with family there, that on holidays my aunt and my grandma have shouting matches, and then like they're screaming at each other in the back, and we're all sitting there like, all right, we don't have time for this. You really need to calm down, and so things don't get done, and then everybody's upset and doesn't want to work anymore. but we have like 16-hour shifts, so just, I was saying like, lately if I've been stressed out, I've been doing like the breathing meditation that we do. So take 10 minutes and go outside and just breathe or whatever you need to do to detach for a minute. Because even though we're so busy, we don't take breaks. Like if we do, it's to go get something to eat or go to the bathroom, or if you smoke, you can go smoke, but then you come back and you're standing up all day. So it gets really physically exhausting. So encouraging people to, hey, if you need to go take a break, go take a break. Just be back in 10 minutes or whatever. I mean, we have 30 people. You can afford to take a break as long as everybody's not going at the same time. So my whole model is based off of BSR and mainly just being aware of what we're doing, the product we're using, and getting a product done before you start another one. But hopefully, I'll never have to do it. So that's
Remember last time I mentioned about the story one employee, he's so stressed out and burned out that he somehow poisoned the food, so that he could damage the brand name of the company. And what happened if your employee somehow, if they burn out and they put the wrong color of the flower in the wedding ceremony, right?
That's probably.
It's a disaster, right?
It's like the end of the world. It's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
You need a project manager.
I don't know that.
You need somebody that they'll all listen to.
So
That's the hard part because it's family based, right? There's like too many chiefs. At least they all think they're chiefs.
Right.
So in your florist business, you deal with many wedding cases, right? And funeral service too, right? So you have two different flowers for each occasions.
Different types.
Okay, for wedding ceremony, ceremony, what type of flowers do you?
Well,
Is that
it depends.
the rose?
Yeah, we get weird brides sometimes that want like the craziest, most tropical flower ever, and if you import it, it's like dead by the time it gets here. But mainly it's like really soft colors and really expensive flowers. So you've got like giant ones because they want it to be as big as possible, but as cheap as possible. So we do a lot of peonies and stuff. But with funerals, there's like a really rigid, like, this is the structure of your shape, and this is the flower you use, and the colors you use, because some colors aren't appropriate. So yeah, there's like a method to everything, and if it's not exactly how people want it, we get people calling all the time that we didn't get the right color, or one of these flowers isn't open, and then they want their money back. And sometimes we have to give it back to them, even though like you can't control nature, you can't make something different from how it grew. But yeah, there's you would think that people just appreciate things like that, but they don't. It's like, I don't know.
And you have
Because
to.
they never made their own arrangement.
Right? Everyone that orders flowers should have to come
Yeah.
and make an arrangement.
So they
to
can
know which
understand
flower.
how
Right.
it works and how plants work. They have no concept. They just go online and say, oh, I like that one. Make it look just like that.
Make for your business.
And also you need to keep the flower fresh too. Have some kind of chemicals or
yeah.
have chemicals.
It depends. Typically, an arrangement will last 3 days. The first day you send it, it'll be closed up, and the second day it opens, and the third day is when it starts to die. But we put like it's called flower food, and you just put a little bit in the bottom of the water, and it makes it last maybe a week. But it really depends on the flower because they're all different. Like they're not the same thing. So.
It's good business.
The designing part's fun, but the business part of it and the delivering it, that's not fun. So the art part of it's fun, but that's the only part I enjoy.
I mean that's grown up, growing.
Yeah, we started out on Grant Line Road a couple of years ago, and we got too big. So we're over on Charlestown Road, and now we're getting too big. But I don't know what we're gonna do about that. So.
Thank you. So this is applicable, huh?
Mhm.
So useful.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yes. Okay.
Please.
So basically, what I did here came with a business called Jacob's Guitars. Great name, I know. Yeah. So we just, we're kind of manufacturing business. We make and sell guitars to vendors and individuals. And as far as like the mindfulness model, I kind of took a top-down approach. I started with the managers of each branch. Also, I guess I should mention that we have like kind of many branches throughout the Louisville and Southern Indiana area there. So once a month, all the managers come together to meet with the president. They kind of have a meeting about what needs to be accomplished this coming week and any concerns they may have. Before, kind of when they get started here, I think the president should kind of state how things are going to be done here, as far as telling people that we're not here to really judge your ideas or put people down. We're here to objectively kind of evaluate each individual's input. He also stresses that a lot of time shouldn't be spent kind of looking over our past mistakes that we have been made. I mean, yes, they do need to be acknowledged, but most of our time should be spent focusing on what needs to be done today and what needs to be done in this coming month here. So we're trying to focus on the present here. I kind of have a similar thing with the supervisors. I think once a week, all the supervisors meet together with the branch managers. And in this meeting there, the manager tells them that although deadlines are important, it is not what he wants you to be focusing on and pushing throughout the whole week. Like, the supervisor shouldn't be like, come on, we got to get this done, Joe. This has to be done by Friday. Instead, they should be kind of focusing on the individual tasks that, like, steps that get done. Again, trying to focus on what's at hand right now and what we need to do today instead of worrying about getting this done on time. Now, again, things do have to get done on time, and if there is an instance where something doesn't get done on time, it should be looked into and see what exactly went wrong here. How can we stop this from happening in the future? Like, do we not have enough people? Do we not have enough time? Were people simply not pulling their weight? So that's how I think the supervisors should do their jobs there. And also, I built into this model kind of an open door policy. I think about once a week, the managers and supervisors of each department will have maybe about an hour amount of time where they sit in their office and they kind of have an open door where employees can come and express any present concerns here. And during this, if an employee has come in and expressed a certain concern, it should be important for the person listening to try to listen as objectively as possible without, trying to judge and put down the other person or think that they already know the answer and, they know it all. They need to kind of approach it, I guess, with a open mind is the overall concept there. And it's just kind of doing this. It will help the employees know that their opinion does matter and that it will be seriously considered. And like I said, anything that the employees want to bring up work-related, it's fair game. And the person listening to that, whether it be a supervisor or manager, will consider whether or not it can get accomplished. This problem can be fixed in a cost-effective manner. Not all problems will be able to be fixed, but at least they'll be considered.
And finally, this is kind of, other people have mentioned this, but I think it's important at my business here. At the beginning of each day, we're built in maybe a 10-minute span here where all the employees kind of sit in their offices and have some time for themselves. During this time, it's encouraged that they practice mindfulness, such as like they could, count the breaths, do a body scan, anything like that. But again, I don't want to force it upon anyone because some people may not want to do that. That's completely okay. They can maybe spend their time maybe organizing for the day ahead. Basically, overall, what I want to be accomplished with this 10 minutes is kind of to help clear the mind of each individual and get them prepared for the day to come. Not only do I want this to be done in the morning, but I think maybe after lunch, when we go back to work, and also before we all go home, like the last 10 minutes, it will be spent, kind of clearing our mind and de-stressing ourselves from the work so we don't bring that work stress home with us. And that's basically the whole, my whole business model. And it's my hope that even though this may take away some time, some of our time to be like more productive, that the productiveness we get out of this time will outweigh the cost and time we put into actually implementing these practices. So,
thank you. This is great. There's some loophole. We need to put in considerations. Let's say if you don't stress much on the deadline, but some people may take advantage of that.
Yeah.
How could you deal with that kind of people?
I guess I would say I need to recognize that, like I said, if the deadline doesn't get met, we obviously need to go investigate into why it didn't get met. And if it was, for example, a person not doing their job, in that case, we may need to stress a little more, stress the deadline, and stress how important, more stress the importance of it in that case. Like I said, I didn't really want to focus on the deadline, but if that does become a problem, then I guess I'll have to become a little more stringent on that. And I guess that's all that I'll have really say. I don't know.
So if you were a boss and someone abused this kind of system, that means you give them, you don't enforce your deadline, but they abuse the kind of systems. How would you deal with that?
He'll have to enforce his deadline. I guess it's the way he does it that matters, right? Because he's trying to be mindful. So I mean, the first time you could try to appeal to them by explaining the value of the deadline and how, how meeting the deadline benefits the individual and the company, and and try to appeal to them on that level first, before you have to go down the road of, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give you a written warning. Eventually you probably have to get there if it's an employee that's just refuses to do a good job. That's going to happen. Unfortunately, but your first and second attempts you might be able to do mindfulness. If it's a problem the person's having because of stress or something, you might be able to help them by helping them with some meditation or some type of we'll take a few minutes every hour, take 5 minutes every hour, just go de-stress and then come back and focus and see if that helps you. You might be able to work with them a little, but if they just don't care, and they're just going to do a bad job no matter what you try. Once you've tried everything you can as compassionately as you can, then you have to just be the boss. And you don't have a choice. Either that or you're not a boss.
You might be able to show them. Sorry. You might be able to show them how, like, their role is important to, like, the grand scheme of things. Like, if you, I don't know, it would kind of be under the rug telling them meet your deadline, but you could show them that it's not just like they're doing this for no benefit whatsoever, that it's actually part of like the bigger picture. You gotta show them like how important their piece of the work is. I don't know if business major, I don't know if it's out of work or not.
No, that's definitely.
Yeah, with mature and understanding person, you will recognize. What voice? Yeah, then want to say something?
I was just going to say it happens consistently to redirect their role or their behavior somewhere else, give them different responsibilities. Like you said, try to understand the root of why it's happening. They might be too stressed, they might have deadlines somewhere else. I mean, usually if someone is having a work behavior like that, there's more involved than them just not caring. It just might not be the rules suitable for them. I mean, I've read somewhere that it's better to reward good behavior than to have a punish negative behavior all the time. So, yeah, that's true. And that can be really hard because if you're a small business, then everyone like you has. It's like everybody has to do everything, and then
There's not many places to move them around. Yeah. But if you could, I mean, job switching is a good solution. Like, well, let's try this one for a while.
Yeah.
See if you like this better. I mean, once you talk to the person, you can try to find out what the problem is, and if they can identify it. Oh, well, I just really hate doing this. Well, is there something else that you would like to do, you know? Sure, I think I'd like to try this. And if they try and it's a fit, then great. If it's that simple.
You know, even with my own online classes, I have two online classes here, and I do converse, and sometimes students email to me that they say, well, I have to take my wife to the hospital, I have to take my children, and they're sick, and so forth and so forth. What do you have any rules for late assignment and so forth? Because I haven't mentioned that in the syllabus. And when it comes to the German, he mentioned that right now his wife is hospitalized, so he has to take care of his children and so forth. So he could not do his assignment on time. So basically, he asked me to give him some kind of deadline. Originally, I didn't say that in my syllabus. So I said, well, try it before the final week. I can read the paper. This paper is a paper. We have to be flexible with this kind of special situations so that they can enjoy the class. So we have to understand the situations. Of course, we would know as a leader, as a professor, as a boss, you would know whether people abuse the system or not, right? If we try out for a couple of times, the third time for them, you don't really, or they do because they have some kind of special situation. If they have some special situation, we need to be mindful. We give them some leeway, some flexibility. So, anyway, it's just you have that type of intuition.
One of the programs on one of the top books of 2014 is called Dummy's Guide to Mindfulness in Business.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it?
You know, like I have the Dummy's Guide.
Yeah.
There's one called Dummy's Guide to Mindfulness in Business. So how to use mindfulness in business.
That means that it's pretty popular. If they come out with a dummies guide, that means it's pretty popular.
Okay. Okay. So you are the last one.
I'm thinking about like start out like coffee shop again because I really like
Starbucks.
it. I don't want Starbucks. And like my family, like my mom, my grandpa, they used to open a coffee shop in my country a long time ago. And they really love it, like passion on that. And I see one thing, like you see, like the next 10 years, 20 years, the next generation, people like gonna go out more and drink coffee and eat more like fast food and stuff. So I think about a coffee shop. Why a coffee shop are gonna be open 24 hours? Because I think about demand is gonna be in a big city, like in New York or Washington D.C. because that's mean international people are gonna have a different time. So the time maybe American will be asleep, but other country they want to do something else. So I think about like if I open a coffee shop like that, so I have to hire employees. First, if I gonna pay for them well, like an hour, because I want to save the cost from the employee. I want to hire a person have to have the same passion. Like you have to love coffee, but at least you have to know like basic about like coffee. And also at the same time, if I open 24 hours, I have to hire employee, whoever like gonna be like to be awake like overnight time, or some person like to be in the morning, because I don't want to see like you force employee have to be like some people like they don't like to work night time, but like because their jobs and they have to, and then make them feel really stressful a lot when they get home. So be mindfulness. So yeah, the first thing people can say about okay, do you like this job and why do you like it? And then at the same time, okay, I offer like 2 different schedules. And do you think about you a nighttime person or you a daytime person? And then they're gonna be able to work for that. And also at the same time is maybe you're gonna hire people like that if to be able to I think like to work well with like employees. So it's gonna be like every day, maybe pick around like 2 or 3 p.m. So we kind of close the store about like 20 minutes, like for employees take a break, and also at the same time, like we have the meeting to see like like the one shift like that to see okay, we talk about like anything like how you feel like I want to know about like every single team, how did you feel if you work like from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like around that time, any conflict, did you have any problem like a customer, yell at you or something like that, like something you have to handle, that so you can share, with the team leads, like actually just like conversation, like talk and understand, team each other more well. And also like after 20 minutes, maybe close at 2 p.m. then to 2:20, gonna be reopen the store, and then gonna run into like 10 p.m. gonna be the next shift coming. So they're gonna have another meeting, gonna be closed like 20 minutes. So I think that is like how to apply mindfulness, because I think like the more you understand about employee and you care about them, so actually it's really benefit like for both sides. Like you can run business better because your employee actually like passionate about a job, so they don't actually like waste like coffee, milk or whatever it is. And also at the same time is I think about if I open a coffee shop like that, it's gonna be the values I want to bring to let American understand what is the coffee is, not just drink it and put it in your mouth. Actually, you have to like passion on that. Have like 2 different styles, one style and classic. But a classic style is you have to wait for a single drop of the coffee. So during the time you wait for a single drop of the coffee, it actually is not waste your time. So you can sit right there, calm your mind and relax, thinking about okay, what I want to do today, or like anything, just like relax. So because I know usually people drinking coffee, they usually like spend the time to enjoy a moment at that moment instead of like stressful or something, like release the stress out. So, but it's just like a shot and go. But actually, I don't really know. But that's what I think looking for the future.
I have business some companies that they fail, they bankruptcy because the owners, the employers could not understand or work together with the employees for example, some construction company, they just send their foreman to the job site, and they may not know, or they may not estimate how much times the employee is to do the work. That's like in the case book. When they send the employees to work on my backhoe, my heavy equipment, if you say if you don't trust your employees, if you don't understand the employees, they may abuse the times, right? Like if you send the deliveryman, right? They charge per hour or you pay them per hour or per job.
On holidays, it's by how many deliveries they take. Normally, it's by hour.
By hour, not by job. Okay. So sometimes if the employers don't know much about the cost effective of the job, I mean how long do they need to finish a job, on-site job, so there's many people may abuse the system. They just hang around or they play around to get the salary. It's not initially work.
I think what you said right too, because I read Starbucks, a couple of times I come in and I get the order, like people actually, they don't like their job. They don't really concentration on like, okay, what does the customer want? Sometimes they want a special way, and they just make it wrong. Every single time, then you make it wrong, you're going to waste the whole cut. And one time I go to the store, I want to pay for the newspaper, like Wall Street Journal. I bring up to the guy, and then I see his name tag, like store manager. And then I ask him, oh, I want a coffee and this newspaper. He said, just take it. You don't have to pay. He said, just take it. Just take it. And I'm thinking like, if you let me take it for free, so how many people on one day you let them take it for free? So actually you can see people don't like the job. Actually it's a big cost right there. You cannot chase for that. So that's why I think like you have to like understand employee and actually hiring, a person, actually they're patient, they love what they do.
That's right. The passion. But if you open the youth business, right, you have to hire someone who know, who like to play guitar, right? Because you have to find out a like mind to work together. Okay. So sometimes if you hire someone who have been working on the assembly line, but now you ask them to deliver your flowers, would they like, or would they enjoy? They get used of standing or sitting in one place, but now you hire them, right? If they were unemployed, if they lost their job, so they come to your shop to get the job, to get the job. So, but would you hire that kind of person, the one who get used of standing in one place, or sitting in one place, and now they have to drive a car around?
We used to.
Oh,
and we realized that wasn't working because we've had several people that they come from different places and they're not used to sitting in a car for 8 to 12 hours a day. And so now whenever we get resumes, we look to see, like, we just hired somebody that used to be a pizza delivery driver. And so, or we hired a truck driver once, like a semi driver. So now that's what we look for.
Because they've already done it, and they know what it's like, and they're reapplying, so clearly they didn't hate it too bad.
Right.
Right, because they're trying to get the same kind of job again, they can tolerate it.
Yeah, great. So we have time. Let me show you. That's great. That's great model. Yeah, I showed you last time. This is kind of model. Right? This healthy work environment. This will become mindful. This all the components. Skill communicators, become attentives. Become a square of satisfaction. Relative. So let me show you some video clips. This one.
becoming rich. In the 80s and 90s, greed was good.
Greed is right. Greed works.
When business is booming, anything goes, as corporate high flyers try to get the edge over the competition. But a new generation of business leaders is leaving behind that ethos in favour of meditation and mindfulness.
The world needs better leaders, and mindfulness is one path to do that.
It's a word that's being used increasingly in the boardrooms of the world's top corporations.
Mindfulness is really just the practice of bringing more self-awareness to your everyday life. So whether it's through meditation or just taking a pause and deep breath before reacting, just being more aware of where you are at the moment.
This week in Sydney, leaders from organisations like Facebook, Virgin Australia and Origin Energy met at the Mindful Leadership Conference. They see mindfulness as key to countering long hours, stress and near constant connectivity in our digital world.
It's allowed me to deal with juggling, pressure and stress. It means I don't react in the moment when I'm under a lot of pressure.
According to neuroscientists, meditation can lower stress hormones and increase the body's immune response. Meditators also have better memories, increased focus, and are able to free up more space for creativity. For Origin Energy CEO Gordon Cairns, the practice of mindfulness completely transformed his life.
I had some behaviours that quite frankly were dysfunctional. I was hugely competitive internally, I was very aggressive, I wasn't very humanistic and encouraging, hugely demanding. But the net result, people don't want to work for people like that. I wouldn't. And so you have to change.
And it did change when he discovered Buddhism. His staff now say he's a completely different kind of boss.
Someone were nice enough to say that they found the inspiration.
Business leaders say encouraging these practices in the workplace creates a culture that keeps younger employees engaged.
Gen Y particularly is very focused on purpose, and mindfulness is a way of really connecting back into that core purpose of why we're here.
Corporate innovator Google has been on board for years, running its very own mindfulness program called Search Inside Yourself. It teaches employees techniques to help them free up the mental space for creativity and big thinking. But is this just another corporate fad designed to squeeze more out of workers? Gordon Cairns believes it goes deeper.
The whole point of being here is to find true happiness, not to acquire a huge house and a fast sports car and having expensive exotic holidays overseas. Actually, the whole point of being here is to find true happiness. And the best way to find true happiness is to control your mind.
So you see the shift, right? The 20th century, well, we have to work hard, we have to earn money, so far right now, the shift. Okay, so there's plenty of video clips that talk about the relation between mindfulness and business. This we can watch it.
The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. The coach does mindfulness.
When we talk about the sport potential. Anyway, so this Wednesday, I have the question here, but I want to do something more interesting for you. This is just the question. Now, what do you think? If I make this question, I'm thinking about, because this Wednesday we talk about mindfulness in legal profession. Okay, so what do you think? If you still want to follow this question, that's great. But if I want to have another way, so we can have some kind of activities, like it deal with the legal system, right? So since we have 6 people here, and we have, you can say, one business. So let's say if we deal with a case like car thieves, let's say on the campus, someone stole a car, right? And that person was caught. Okay, and we brought that person to the courthouse. Okay, so we need a judge we need a lawyer, right? We need a witness. So you think we can have that activities? That's this Wednesday is more interested than follow this kind of question. All people, and especially the one who absolutely they may follow this one. So what do you think? Okay, this one interesting. So especially if you're a church, you have to have the impartial mind, right? The church case. And if you're the lawyer or the plaintiff or the defendants, you have to be mindful of what you say, right? So what, do you think it's okay? Okay.
So what exactly do we do? I'm not clear what we're supposed to do.
Okay, now you understand this, the case. So someone stole a car.
So we're all doing the same thing?
Huh?
We're all doing the same thing?
No, different.
Okay.
So we need to have it. So let's say she lost a car.
Okay, so she's the victim. She's the victim.
Okay, yeah, she's the victim. Okay.
We're assigning roles.
No, not assign. That's we can discuss. Okay.
Okay, right now this is just hypothetical.
Yeah. And let's say she took her car, for example. Okay. And so let's say she will be her lawyer, and he will be her lawyer, right? And
there's a witness,
we need a witness
and a judge.
A judge. So that you see, understand? And we create the case so that we can discuss. So if you are a judge, how could you apply this kind of mindfulness?
Okay, so when I go home, do I think about the mind? Am I writing about the mindfulness for each one of these people?
No, you. Let's say
Just me.
If you let's say if you understand the case now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just want to ask the volunteer who want to be a judge.
I have an idea. Can I write them all down on paper?
Yeah.
Cut them up. We just pick randomly.
You want to pick? Okay, good.
Is everyone okay with that?
It's fair.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. So they just write out and
How do you spell judge? Is there a D or no?
Judge, the lawyers, the plaintiff, and the defendants, right, and the witness, all right. So we have two lawyers, right? We have two lawyers. We have the plaintiff and the defendants, and one witness. Right? Or two witnesses.
Does plaintiff have two F's or one? These two.
Okay.
What impeachment should you do? I just put lawyer. Should I put prosecuting lawyer?
The prosecutor is for the criminal case. For the civil cases, we don't have that.
This is a criminal case, right?
No, this is civil. Yeah, civil. Yeah. Criminal, the government they appoint the prosecutor.
All right.
Okay. It'll be fun.
It's already been fun.
Yeah, it's already fun.
Okay. Great. Okay, okay, you this together and then carry around this. Have the bowl and
I have a beanie.
I have a scarf that we can kind of
Oh, that's one.
okay, the hat, yeah.
That's much better.
That's good.
Sort of a hat.
That's
Well, that's trash. Let me fold them so they're all the same size. I think there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Right.
Oh, do it right.
Yeah, this one. Okay, 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Good. You pick one. You close your eye and pick one. Okay.
pick your fate. You're either a criminal or you're a lawyer. Oh, I'm here too. All right.
Okay, so your last one.
Okay.
Okay, who will judge that?